So I thought I'd do a short video about different activities that deaf people like to do, like during the Christmas holidays, because we'll have off and, families gather, friends gather, and so there's many things that people like to do, but maybe the deaf individuals in the family or the friends are kind of just left out, they're separated. So and how do you kind of involve them? Well, deaf people like to do the same things as hearing people, right? But they really, I guess they prefer, or it's easier to include them, like if you're doing games. So this is a challenge, so it's an open A hand shape, and it just kind of, you go around and you challenge. So they like football, and many people, like during the holidays, they'll go outside and have football, or they'll watch football. So they either play football or watch football. And so they like sports because it's action. So any sport that you want to include them, if they know the rules or they're easy to explain for you, and maybe in a limited sign language. So so that can be fun. So anything like with action. People like to watch movies as well. Like they'll all go as a group, to watch a movie. Well, they like movies too, and they prefer the action ones. And most men do, but they prefer the action movies. And now some movies have like an open captioning, or they have those devices, they have equipment that have closed captioning, like the glasses or something like that they have at the movies. So they can go to the movies too. But if they don't, then an action movie is good, so that they can easily see. Now the plot, P-L-O-T, I do plot like structure, and I know that's very English, but when I was working in a school system, that's how we did plot, because it was structure. So we did plot because it builds and builds and builds. And so they like to play games like chess, if they know how. I know that the older deaf people really were good at chess, and you can even do checkers. And so those different games that are easy, like to rule, like to play cards. You have your cards in your hand and you open it up, where you're holding them in your hand. So that's cards. So sometimes, I like to play games, but I'm not really good at them. I always lose. So or lose. Any of those signs will work for lose. This is to lose something. This is to lose, or to lose. But like lose a game. So anyway, so you could do cards, or for children, like if they're deaf, they can color. So they like to do the same thing too. They like arts, sculpture, photography, those things that are more kind of a solitary, except that you want to include them during the holidays. So like if you're doing a craft, you're making something, include them and show them, because they'll watch. And they are so accustomed to watching, what's going on, that sometimes if it's simple, then you don't need to sign a lot, or don't even need to sign. So make sure that you kind of include them in all your activities, in events that you're doing. They like to go to museums and, different things that you're going to take like the kids to, or whatever. Bowling is kind of a favorite. So anything that's kind of a game, baseball, volleyball. So any of those type of games, or if you're going to do like a craft, or if you're going to cook out, they like to do the same things. You just have to be able to show them, like that's pantomime, how to do something. Or now you should know, some sign language enough to be able to sign to them about different activities. So make sure you include them. I remember several years ago, I had like an open house And I invited my hearing and my deaf friends. And so it was kind of interesting because many of the people there that knew sign language were hearing, but the deaf kind of congregated over here and the hearing congregated over here. So I was kind of going back and forth, just because it's just easier to communicate, right? So if you had an activity, a game or something, because everyone like eats, and so that's kind of universal. But if you're going to stop and kind of chat, then they're going to separate. So, you might want to think of different activities so you can include your deaf friends or your family, and have fun and enjoy and see and ask them, and have them like take the lead, like, oh, think of something that you can include everyone with, right? Because there's not any specific deaf games, right? It's just communication. It's just the language barrier. So just kind of think about and prepare, more action things like watching an action movie or watching football or outside playing football or outside playing baseball or those things. So different just activities, just things to do with your hands. So and everyone enjoys that, so there's nothing separate. But if you're just sitting in a room and you're just chatting, then that's where you're going to have that exclusion. And so that, just know that for like dinner time. I was going to say supper or dinner, but anyway, whenever you have your your Christmas meal or your holiday meals, then that's going to be the separation, of the exclusion, if nobody can sign or interpret. Anyway, enjoy, and I will see you later. Bye.